Hello, everyone. It's good to be here with you all again. And I'm happy to see Ned Chinedu Orie as our guests in today's session. He's a very good friend of mine. So I'll take a moment and introduce him formally before we begin. Chinedu Orie is a senior software engineer with an IT company in the UK. And he has a bachelor's degree from Nnamdi Azikiwe University, Nigeria, and a Master of Science from the University of Hertfordshire, UK. Chinedu is married to Christine, and they both have a girl. Her name is Caris. Ned and Christy are friends of ours. We've been friends for many years now. And Ned is one of those young people, young men, I would say rather, that I befriend, and I am very glad to be friends with, people like him. And like I always say, this platform is not just to have people come speak, but we do have an underlying intent to provide mentorship to young people. And Ned, like many other speakers who have come to this platform, is someone of very admirable life and qualities. He demonstrates consistency in hard work, consistency in pursuing excellence in his professional life and in his family life as a husband and wife. I am proud of him any time in the day. He's someone I speak highly about, and I can vouch for him any time in the day. So Ned, he is like a brother to me. Ned, you are welcome to this platform, and I wish you had been here with us long before now. I hope after this session you will join us on the Pedia as one of our colleagues and a mentor to some of the people coming up in that area of our profession where you have done so well. So join me to welcome him as he takes the floor to begin to speak to us about some of his experiences and the things we can find useful and helpful in pursuing a career and educational training in the areas within the Group 6 category. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for the warm welcome. I think that was a lot for just me. And once again, thanks everyone for having me. I'm honored to be in your midst and to speak with you on the topic of charting educational and professional paths in the disciplines of mathematics, computer science, material science, and name them. Yeah. But today we'll be talking about a particular area, which is the tech industry, IT in general. And yeah, I will basically be sharing my experience and a few things that I think has helped me so far in my career. And yeah, if you have any question at the end of the day, you ask, and I'll do my best to answer. And let me also apologize in advance that I'm not the great speaker that you may have been expecting. So just bear with me, or I'm going to do my best to share the idea that I have with you guys. Thanks again for having me. Guess I can go ahead and share my screen now.
Yes, you can.
All right. Thank you. All right, so yeah, here we go. This is the topic we have. This is a very broad topic. Like I have said earlier, we will just be focusing on the tech part of this. how it relates to tech, and also alongside my own experience in the industry. The disciplines of engineering, mathematics, physics, computer science, material science, and all of that. These fields are actually what begets the tech industry, right? The tech profession, engineering, mathematics, and all of that. Yeah, the principles gotten there are what is applied in tech to build solutions. Yeah, introduction, you've heard my name and what I do. I believe this is no longer necessary. So let's just dive in and go to the background. And it says why tech industry? So tech industry is 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 an industry of the moment. I don't know if it's right to put it that way, but there's a lot of interest in the area given the way the internet has become part of our lives, our everyday lives. So everything is almost everything we do is being powered by one tech or the other, and these are what we can find out. I mean, the information is all there. I just try to pick a few so we have something to discuss. The industry has high demand for skilled professionals. We all know this. It's a very There's a very high demand for tech talent, and we'll be looking at some of these areas. There is global interconnectivity. One thing with tech industry is that it removes the barrier. It removes the barrier of maybe location where you are. So with your skill in tech, you'll be able to work basically anywhere, any part of the world where you live. Before I left Nigeria, I was working with a company in the US, and I was in Nigeria. I was living my life fine. Just that I think I needed something more than just the pay. That's why I had to leave. Yeah. It has competitive salaries and benefits. Yeah. And the diverse career paths that you can get here. This list is not exhaustive. There is a lot more than this that is not stated here. We have software development, uh, data science, and artificial intelligence, cybersecurity, data science and analytics, sorry, cybersecurity, cloud computing, artificial intelligence and machine learning, product design. Some people also call it UI UX design, product management, IT support, copywriting, etc. And there is a role for everyone in tech. So basically, everyone has something to do. So what I'm trying to say here is, I understand that some people say that I am not cut out for this. Maybe I didn't study, I didn't do science, or I didn't do computer science. Even people that did mathematics, did other courses in science would also say, because they didn't do computer science, it's probably not for them. But from my experience, it's not exactly like that. I have colleagues who Some of them didn't even do science at all. Some of them did science, but nothing related to computer science. But one thing that is consistent among all of them is just the determination and, of course, the ability to learn. I think that is the most important thing, the ability to learn and the determination. Nobody finds it easier than the other. Everyone experienced the same difficulty, even those that had computer science background. Now, depending on how grounded they are, of course, yeah, I believe it could give an edge, but it is not something to say that if you didn't do computer science, then you don't think you stand a chance. It's not true. I know a lot of people who didn't do computer science or who didn't even do science at all, and they are doing very well in these areas today. We talk about the essential disciplines for success. These few points that I enumerated here, like I said before, is not exhaustive. One of the attributes that can put you on the path of success in IT is curiosity. You should be someone who is curious, who always wants to learn, to know maybe the latest technology or the latest approach to solving some kind of problems, because that is what keeps you going. Technology is the rate of change that happens in it is very fast. So be you also have to keep the same pace with it. So that's where the curiosity comes in, and then adaptability. This is similar to what I've just explained. You have to keep learning and unlearning and relearning. You just have to keep changing the way it's changing. So today, maybe tomorrow now, there might be a new way of doing something, and you just have to drop the one you already have and follow the new one because it provides a better approach to solving the same problem. So you just have to have that mindset of not being too comfortable with what you're already used to. And collaboration, this is very important because you cannot do it alone. You have to have a good, you know, relationship, being able to work together with people, being able to share ideas with people. Yeah, grit and persistence. Yeah, this is important because especially people that are going into tech, beginners, it can be hard, can be perceived to be hard and very challenging. But one thing that can help you is being resolved that this is possible, this is doable. This at some point when I started, even though I did computer engineering, but at some point I struggled with understanding the principles of programming language. So, and I felt I was already conditioning my mind that it wasn't my thing. I think I'm just supposed to be an academic, maybe become a professor and just be teaching, but writing code to solve problem, maybe it's not my thing. I think I was already convincing myself. But at some point, at other point, there was there was a shift from that mindset. And I then resolved that this is possible. no matter how difficult it looks, that I don't even have any other option. This is what I'm going to do. And I think I will also be sharing how I got to that point. So yeah, as it gets harder, just keep persisting. And yeah, I think you will succeed. Being active in the ecosystem. One thing that is very helpful in tech and can also help your growth is being active in the tech ecosystem. You need to interact with people who are already there before you. That is, if you're coming in, you also need to be able to share ideas with people that are in the same ecosystem with you. This is very, very important if you want to grow very fast. I will share how I made the decision to go into tech. It was a group of friends when we just finished the university, and some of my friends, they told me that there is an event, a tech event that they were attending here in Uyo. And because I trusted them, they are very good. So for them to be going for such thing, I trusted their judgment. So yeah, I joined them and we went. Um, it was in the process of that event. In that event, you had people from, the guys that are doing very well in tech in Nigeria. All of them came together, to meet, share ideas, and I really got inspired that day. And then it was in the process. It was the following day. It happened that we lodged in the same hotel with some of the guys who are already doing very well, and we went to have breakfast and we met with them. We discovered that we were lodged in the same hotel, and he was trying to encourage us. He shared his own idea, how he started, and where he was at that time. As at that time, he was already working with some companies in the US and he was earning good money. That was actually where I made my decision that, yeah, this is the way. This is the way forward. I went home and I went all in. All the other thoughts that were crossing my mind that this is not meant for me, or I'm not cut out for this, they all fizzled away because I I needed money. Yeah, I needed money. As someone that I don't know if you have heard this joke that someone said that poverty called him on a Saturday morning and looked at his face and told him that he was going to kill him. So yeah, I think it was something similar to that. And I actually needed money. And when the guy said that, I felt, yeah, this is the way forward. And I went for it. Why I share this story now is the essence of community, being active in the ecosystem. That is how you get to be motivated. That is how you also get to know how others are doing. And maybe you might find the reason why you need to go into it or something. I don't really know if I'm speaking to anybody. Can anyone hear me?
Yes, you are. This is very
can hear you.
inspiring. This is good.
Yes, we are with you, sir.
Okay. Yeah. So, and yeah, I think I just needed to complete that part of the story because um that was late 2017, and fast forward to late 2019, I had my first job with a company in the US, which was similar to what the guy told me. You know, when he told me, that was how I learned that something like that was possible, basically. So I didn't know that such thing was possible. But because I attended the event, I had the opportunity to speak with him. He shared his experience. I learned that that was possible, and I made a decision that that is also going to be my own story. And I went home, started working on it, and to cut the story short, by 2019, late 2019, I had already had my first contract with a company in the US while I was in Nigeria. That's the end of that story. Developing key disciplines. Set aside time for learning, attend industry events, tech meetups. I think I've said this. Engage in online discussions, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, etc. Yeah, this is also very important because depending on the people you follow, you can always be learning on the go, because you will people share useful information, people write articles, they share it on Twitter, on LinkedIn, maybe latest findings in technology and all of that. It keeps you up to date because you keep learning. Yeah, keep updated with industry news. I think all of them are just saying the same thing. Personal journey and mentorship. Embrace creativity and open-mindedness. Value mentorship, seek or becoming a mentor. Yes, I've shared a bit of my personal journey in the other story, but like you also heard, if you listened, you could see that I was inspired by someone who was already ahead, and then it didn't stop there. There's one of my friends. There are some of my friends who were already um doing a bit well in programming when we were in school. So when I saw the light to join them, I also tagged along with them. They also contributed to my growth, maybe faster than it should have been. And that's the essence of mentorship. And it comes in different form. You mustn't have someone that you call your mentor. Maybe it could just be following someone that you know, maybe on Twitter, for example. You know how good this person is. Maybe you follow the updates, stuff like that. It's part of mentorship, and just the one that works for you. Yeah, value mentorship, seek or become one. Yeah, depending on what works for you. If you think having one will work for you, that's fine. And also becoming one, like we say, the more you teach, the more you also learn. So if you teach someone a particular concept, it consolidates your own understanding of that concept. So everyone grow together, you grow, the person looking up to you also grow. But one thing I also mention here is there is anyway, depending on who is mentoring you, mentorship doesn't necessarily mean that the person will hold your hand. So maybe, let me say, for example, you want to go into any of these aspects of their career paths, and someone that you want to be your mentor, you expect the person to just do everything for you, maybe be teaching you and all that. You have to be the one that will take the lead. The essence of having a mentor is if the person will keep watch over you. So no, but maybe if you run into challenges, you have someone that you will share that problem with, and that person helps you. And that would have been when you have spent your own time trying to find a solution to that problem. And there's this one of my friends, one of my classmates, then the confidence, just knowing that I have him, if I will go to him if I run into a problem, gives me this confidence that maybe I wouldn't have. I may end up not even reaching out to him for anything, but just knowing that there is someone like him that I have, it boosts my confidence. It doesn't necessarily mean that I'm always, because he's also busy. But if the need arises, I know that he will show up to help. Local and international opportunities in tech, startups, established tech companies, freelancing, work anywhere in the world from the comfort of your home. Yeah, I think the most important thing is having the skill. When it comes to tech, the primary thing is having how good are you? Can you prove that you are good at this particular skill? Once that is settled, I don't think you would have to worry so much about getting a job. That was one of the things that I also considered as a young graduate. I know I didn't have anybody who I will run to for job and all of that. So when I figured out that all I needed was to be good at what I'm doing in this. Once that is settled, I don't need to bother so much about having a connection to get a job. And that was exactly what happened. My first job, I didn't even apply for the job. It's one of the internships that we did. From there, I got a number of companies reaching out to me. I think when Kensley would be aware, when I left Jos, my target was actually, as I was going for my NYC, my target was, as I'm finishing my NYC, I want to move to a full-time job as a software engineer, and I worked on that. And by the time I was leaving Jos for my NYC, I already have two offers to choose from in Lagos. So I literally moved from Jos to start work the next day after my NYC. And you see, I'm not trying to say that is that it may not happen like that to everyone, but one thing that is sure is that once you are good and you can prove your skill, I'm not sure that it will be so much a struggle. Even if you struggle, definitely you will struggle, but with time, once you break through, the struggle ends because it will keep getting better. Positioning for opportunities, you build solid online presence. Yeah, this is very important. Apart from having the skill, you also need to have visibility. Some of the jobs, most of the jobs I've done for the past 2 years here has been through LinkedIn. Recruiters reaching out to me for opportunities, and I get that almost every day. I get a number of recruiters reaching out to me on LinkedIn for opportunities, and this wouldn't have been possible if I didn't brand myself just a little bit on LinkedIn, and maybe visiting my profile, you would have that first conviction that, okay, maybe this is someone I would want to speak with. That is also very important. And network with professionals. I think this just keeps coming in different forms. But that goes to emphasize the need to, work, network with other people. And I also had this story of how some of my friend, there's this friend that he did computer science and we were doing electronics and computer. This guy was he could build standard websites. I could build, real websites then, but he was just there doing his thing. He didn't even know the latest tools in what he's doing. And when I joined, I was then the one telling him about the things that he needed to know, right? I was now in turn, trying to let him see things that he needed to know. And that wouldn't have been possible if I wasn't, very active in the community, being up to date with what is going on. So that actually helped me to grow faster, because something that maybe would have taken me a lot of time to get to know, but because I was close to the right people, I had the right information, so I was very much ahead. See. So the screen ceased for a while. Professional development and training programs. Yeah, there are a lot of platforms out there where you can get started in any of the skills that you're interested in. The popular Coursera ideas, Udacity, Udemy, YouTube, and there are a lot more than this. And if you do your own research, I'm sure you will find them. Udemy, I think Udemy is quite cheap, and they also, if you're in Nigeria, they charge you in Naira for your courses, so that makes it cheap. Of course, I believe YouTube is cheaper if you find the right information, but it cannot be this. Udemy is more organized because you have the full course and you'll be given certificate. Not really that the certificate is that important. Yeah, but if you want one, it's more organized. You have instructor, or YouTube are just random content, and you might also find organized content, but if it works for you, that's fine. There are platforms that you can learn. LinkedIn, of course, LinkedIn Learning is also one of the platforms. It's not here. Join online forums and communities. Stay informed on industry news. Free bootcamp. Yeah, there are free bootcamps. If you're in Nigeria, talking about Nigeria, but I believe depending on where you are, if you explore this opportunity, I'm sure you'll find the one that is peculiar to where you are. Or ALCs, and data learning community, they organize training. I think every year they organize training where they give scholarship to people to learn on Udacity and Pluralsight and all of that. Learn with Google is also another free one. Zuri training, if these are something you can find out when you're interested, you can find more information on this. Zuri training and HNG internship They organize free training for beginners. HND internship is not really training per se, but if you already have some skill, if you're past beginner level, you can join the internship. It's very competitive, but it helps to um, expose you to maybe areas you need to do better. I did that HN internship twice. One was announced in the tech meetup I told you about that I attended in USU. I quickly went home, started learning while I was waiting for that internship. When it came, I joined. I didn't quite do very well to my own satisfaction. Even though I was able to make it to the end of it, I wasn't quite satisfied with my performance because I was pretty much starting and there was a lot I needed to do. But that helped me, learn where I needed to focus on. I worked on it and returned in the next internship. Then I was already a lot better. Was already doing those things that I wasn't able to do in the previous one. And it really helped me. The job I told you that my first job, it was through that internship. Some companies reached out to me for opportunities and stuff like that. Paid boot camps. There are a lot of them actually in Lagos, different parts of the country. Like I said, it just depends on where you are, you find out. But these are one of the platforms or companies where you can get trained, depending on the one that works for you. Some learn on their own, some prefer to enroll in a training that there will be some kind of commitment. Me, I think that also works for me. If I'm trying to break in in order to help me conquer the distraction, I'll prefer to make a commitment. Right? If I enroll a program where I have to pay, that commitment will help me to not get distracted. It depends on how it works for you. And I added I should do your own research about this whole thing because there's no one cap fit for it. It's just the one that works for you. And advice for beginners: self-learning, physical training. This is what I just said previously. Depending on the one that works for you, there are people who taught themselves by using resources, courses online, and there are people who prefer to start through physical training, and once they get started, they can then advance through self-learning. So it depends on the one that works for you. Stay focused. It could be challenging, but it is doable. The truth is, it could be very challenging, very, very challenging, but the truth is that it is doable. It's just as challenging as every other thing is. They say nothing good comes easy. Yeah, but some people do get unnecessarily scared about once they hear about IT, and that is not true. The thing there is you just need to be determined that you're going to do this. Then at some point the challenge you will get better at handling the challenge, and That is it. Try to find a solution on your own before asking help. Yeah, that is also going to help you. Maybe if you have a mentor, it's always good to try to take some time spend on it so that by the time you're going to meet someone that you want to get help from, you start by explaining what you have done, what you have tried. That is a good mentorship tip, right? You let the person know how much you have gone trying to solve this problem by yourself. Then the person can now take it from there. You don't just run to someone and say, I'm having this problem. It's one of my mentees that when we started, it was very difficult for him, but with time he got to learn that that's the best way to go about it. Some people there are some people that call it 20 minutes rule. Okay, there was one of the training I did with 20 minutes. You must have spent at least 20 minutes on it. But depending on the scenario, it could be more than that. But the important thing here is that you have tried finding a solution to this, tried solving it yourself, and you're unable to do so, then someone else will be happy to help because knows that you've done your own bit. If you're going into coding related career path, I always advise people you start with front-end development. It's basically building user interface. So the idea there is that it's easier, like the elementary part of it is easier. And then because you can build something you can see, you can appreciate it. I think it has a way of encouraging you. And once you get started, you can now expand from there. But like I've mentioned earlier, it's not all about coding. There are some aspects that you don't have to do coding, such as product designs, business intelligence analyst. All those are part of tech. Copywriting, of course, is part of it. So it's not in all of them that you have to write codes, actually. But if you have to, I always advise that you start with this one because it gives you something that you can quickly appreciate. And I think it's also relatively easier. The elementary part of it is relatively easier compared to other ones. And of course, you build your portfolio. This is helpful. You have something to show to people what you have done and also build projects. This is really helpful for beginners because, like I said earlier, what is more important in this career is you being able to prove that you can do something that you claim that you know how to do. That's why most of the time certificate is not really that important, depending on the level, of course, depending on the level of or the type of role, maybe administrative, maybe in those area, or there are actually some companies that would want certificate. I just haven't come across such since I started, but of course there are a lot of them. So scholarships and funding. There is Google Africa Developer Scholarships, Ingressive for Good, retraining, Microsoft, LX, all these they are just listed here to have a point of contact, but they are not exhaustive. What is important is that you know that there are things like this that are available, and when you, depending on when you need to go into it, you do your own research, and then as you also keep tab with what is going on. Some of these opportunities they come once in a while, so there are a lot of them. There are ones for some of them that are especially for women, and I didn't listen. I added this link here. This guy Benjamin, he listed a lot of them, and I believe it will be more helpful if you visit the link. Yeah, tips for scholarship essay writing. Even on Coursera, there are some courses you pay for. There are some courses that are not free. However, there are financial aids you can apply, and also the other scholarship these ones here, and maybe other ones you find. Most of the time, what makes your application stand out is your ability to put up a convincing, and if you're not given to writing a lot of essays like some people, example myself, you can also leverage some AI tools. I believe most of you would be aware of this ChatGPT. Can use it as a stepping stone. I mean, this is a very helpful tool that you could use, because sometimes what discourages people from applying for scholarship is maybe a lot of essays that you have to write, or with Chat GPT, it can give you something to start with. It can give you some, depending on the command you give to it. It can give. I've applied for one scholarship, and I completely, like most of the essays I wrote, because I didn't have a lot of time to write all those, to be honest. And then if you're applying for many, you see that you may not have the time. Or using tools like, there are a lot of them. I just use this as an example, and this is the one I use. You'll be able to get something that you can fine tune, of course. Yeah, but it helps you solve the problem of starting on a blank page. Maybe when I exit here, I will show you an example of of where I've used it. Yeah, securing financial support, financial aids on Coursera scholarships. Conclusion. We've talked about embracing key disciplines, seeking mentorship or becoming one, exploring opportunities and resources, attend events and network, adopt a functional education approach. What I mean, or what I define this to be, is the kind of education that really solves real problems, right? If you're studying a particular course, you should be able to go beyond just passing your exams and then having a good grade. You should be able to solve real life problems related to that course that you are studying. There's no course that is just created for just being a course. This was also something that helped me. Even before I went into software development, I was quite good with electronics. And I loved it so much. I could build stuff. I could build devices when I was in the university. And this is because I didn't believe in just being an electronic engineer graduate, and I can't solve real problems with it. We also did courses related to electrical engineering, and I went further to learn how to, handle, basic electrical installation and all of that. So the course I did in the university also has some part that we also did. So, like in building a smart system, we also write embedded programs that you embed on the chip, makes it, to automate stuff. But when I graduated, I felt because of the environment I was, starting life on that area is not quite easy, because it's not easy for electronics, something that is capital intensive, and we don't really have an enabling environment. So that's why I switched to software development. I had a laptop, and that was good enough. All I needed to start with. Yeah, but you can also apply it to your own discipline. You should, whatever you're studying, you should be able to get to the point where you're able to use it to solve real problems. That's what I meant by this. Yeah, thank you for listening. I hope you're able to get one or two things from what I have said. And yeah, I'll be stopping here. And if you have any questions, please go ahead and ask. If I have an answer, I answer. If I don't, I also. Thank you. Is anyone still here?
All right, Ned, thank you very much for the session. Just before we end it, is there anyone with questions, please? Can we ask Nora to mute a mic? Nora, please mute your mic. Is there anyone with questions? If no questions are coming, we're going to end the session very quickly. It then means that Ned has done a great job. He's been very clear. Which is why we don't have questions. And I think that the session did have a lot of value. The presentation I meant to say did have a lot of value. If you listen carefully, you're going to be able to have a framework to guide you on how to chart your career path in any of these relative disciplines. Thank you. Oh, Claire, thank you too. Thank you. All right, so we are good to go, right? Okay, so I'll end the recording.